Hello everyone, welcome to another video by Cheeky Games. This video will cover Vampire the Masquerade Heritage and will focus on the clans that you can choose from for the game. There are a total of 9 clans in this game, and in the description down below I've added timestamps that you can use to skip to them in any way that serves your goal. Every clan package starts with one clan leader card that is two-sided, giving you 2 clan leaders to pick from. More can be unlocked in the Chronicle game. And every clan has a special ability. This manifests itself as a boldly printed text on their schemes. In this video, I'm assuming that you know the general gameplay rules. If you don't, I have a video for that. I'll link that in the description down below too. Without that, this video will not make a lot of sense, I'm afraid. For every clan, I'll tell a little bit about their thematic background, and then I'll discuss the clan's power and how it works in the game. To start though, I'll give you a little bit of general background on clans. In Vampire the Masquerade, there was an initial vampire named Cain. From him, 13 main bloodlines were created through creating other vampires. These are the clans. Well, let's get to them now. The Brujah are a physical clan. Add to that a dash of idealism and you get the rebels, as they are also known. The systems that are set up are not fair, and the Brujah fight against them any way they can. For the Brujah, this translates into declare enemy. So I'm going to play 2 of their schemes to show you how it works. So I'm going to start with Tussle, which is, I think, the easiest card they have when it comes to declare enemy. All it says is declare enemy. So how does that work? When you declare enemy, you place your scheme below a vampire in an enemy bloodline. And now that person is an enemy. This card didn't do anything else than declare an enemy, so that's all that happens. If we then do another scheme which does do something with enemies, then we'll see how it works. Normally there will be around recruiting, etc., but I'm going to ignore that for now. I just want to play the cards to show you how it works. So the emissary would be my coterie leader for this next one. It'll be agitate, and as you can see, it says each enemy gains 1 infamy. So right now we have 1 enemy, so I'm going to give him an infamy. There you go. I'm happy. That's good. Then I'm going to declare another enemy. So I'm going to declare this Plague Doctor as an enemy as well. So now I have 2 enemies. Sadly, I can't switch the order. I can't first declare the Plague Doctor and then give both of them infamy, because you have to follow the order in which stuff is written. Now, next time I have an enemy card, I'll target both the Peasant Leader and the Plague Doctor. So that's how it works. It's quite straightforward. The Gangrel are very in touch with the animalistic side of vampirism. Many see them as primal and basic, but the Gangrel scoff at this. Be in touch with who you really are. For the Gangrel, this translates into pack. So pack is a mechanic where normally you have a coterie and everything you do is only important for the coterie. With pack, all the vampires in your bloodline that share the direction with your leader count for anything that says pack on it. So remember, you have 5 directions. You have north, east, west, south, and you have roaming. Roaming counts as a different direction. It's not like roaming gets counted in every pack. So let's do an example of how that works to give you a bit of an idea. So first we're going to do Call to the Wild. So Call to the Wild says steal pack size power from any vampire and gain 1 infamy. So what if Brunhilde over here is my coterie leader? She is a northern vampire. So if I look at the rest of my bloodline, normally this would be my coterie. They're both roaming, so nothing. But then down here, the Lady of the Beggars is also from the north. So my pack size is actually 2, right? It says steal pack size power from any vampire. Well, does any of their vampire have 2 power? Yes, great. If it hadn't, I could only steal 1, right? I can't steal more than they have, but now I can steal these 2 and put them on the coterie leader, which was Brunhilde herself this time. And then it says gain 1 infamy. So remember, clan leaders can't get infamy, so I'm going to push the infamy down here to the Plague Doctor. Nice and spread out, right? Then, I'm going to do another one just to drive the point home. I'll do reject society, and the peasant leader is my coterie leader for this one. So this one says remove all infamy from each pack member. So this one is a roaming one. So the Plague Doctor is also roaming, and the Hearted Knight is also roaming. So these 3 are all roaming. This is north, and she's also north, so they don't count. But for the pack, these 3 count. And it says from each pack member we remove all infamy. So this one loses its infamy, this one loses its infamy, and this one loses its infamy. So that was a very effective scheme to have played. That's how it works. Let's get on to the next one. It is said that the first Nosferatu was a thing of pure beauty, arrogance, and vanity. As such, the entire clan was cursed to be forever deformed. As mortals find it hard to look upon the Nosferatu, they are shunned and generally only have contact with other vampires, hiding and sneaking around the world. The Nosferatu are information brokers and secret keepers, hiding in the shadows. For the Nosferatu, this translates into the scheme power black market. So the way black market works is that any scheme that has the word black market on it, you play it, but it doesn't do anything yet. So for example, let's start off with winged emissaries, right? So we need any old person, so the poisoner is going to be our coterie leader, and it says black market, and then you may play an additional scheme. So if I play it though, I cannot play an additional scheme. It just sits there on the battlefield doing nothing yet. During your turn, whenever you feel like it, you could spend a boon, which could be one of your own or someone else left you one. You can spend a boon on it, and if you do, then the player that spent that boon gets the effect. So now I was like, I want another scheme, so I've used this boon, which was victory points, and now it's over here, and I can play an additional scheme. So if I then say, hey, I also want to play hidden agents, for example, oh, maybe I should have made that the coterie leader. There you go. Hidden agents from the poisoner. Then it says I can draw a clan scheme if I want to give it a boon. But let's assume I don't, right? I've already used this one. I don't have any use for another scheme right now. I could do it next round. So then the turn order passes and the next person is. So in this example, that would be the Lasombra over here. And if the Lasombra is short on schemes, she can now spend a clan boon here as well and draw a scheme. She can't spend a clan boon here because there's already one on there. So then it's the Toreador, it's already full, can't use any of those. Then at the end of the round, they all go to your leader. Now, when it's player one again, in this example, the Nosferatu was player one. When it's player one again, you can play them again. So you could draw a scheme and do two schemes, or you can be like, no, I'm going to pass the turn and hope that the others spend their clan boons so that you can start collecting them slowly. So even though you do give other people utility, in the end you get the victory points of the boons, and you can use them yourself as well when you need to, but it's best for you that others use it. But you want them to use it, but at the same time you don't want them to be to profit too much off of it, because if they do, well, that could make their points better than yours. So it's an interesting mechanic for sure. So that's how that works. The Lasombra hold much sway in vampiric society. As such, they like to think they rule it. They do so through religion, not focusing on one in particular. The Lasombra have a good way in any theistic institution. The relationship with the Ventrue is strained at best, as the Ventrue have very similar views on their role in vampiric society. For the Lasombra, this translates into the clan mechanic, Kiss the Ring. So how does that work? So I'm going to play two cards to show you. First, I am going to play Pass Judgment. So this one says, Kiss the Ring, the clan mechanic, place any vampire with 1+ infamy into torpor. So that sounds great. I can just place vampires into torpor. But the way Kiss the Ring works is that whenever you do this card, people can say, you know what, I'm going to kiss the ring, and then the effect doesn't happen to them. So for example, if I do Pass Judgment, I could play it, and then this Nosferatu is going to be like, well, they're going to put my Lady of the Beggars in torpor, she has infamy, I'm fine with that, not kissing the ring. And then the Toreador over here is like, oh, Faithless Priest into torpor, very bad, so I'm going to kiss the ring. So kissing the ring means that this Toreador gives one of their clan boons to the Lasombra, and for the Nosferatu, they cannot kiss the ring, and then bam, torpor. Or maybe she doesn't even want to do it, she doesn't have to, but let's say she does. So Lady of the Beggars is in torpor now. So that's Pass Judgment, in which case, yeah, she would be the coterie leader. I could also do Blood Depth, for example, coterie leader, and that means kiss the ring, or every opponent discards a clan scheme. Well, if you don't have any cards in hand, then you don't care. But what if they both have only one card, they really like it? So both the Nosferatu are going to kiss the ring, and the Toreador are going to kiss the ring. And now, an interesting thing has happened. Toreador doesn't have any clan boons left, so can't use it on the Nosferatu's powers, can't use it on kissing the ring anymore. So that puts the Toreador in a interesting position. So that's how Kiss the Ring works. Let's get on to the next one. The Toreador have the souls of artists, but vampires do not have the spark of creation anymore, making it impossible for them to make any type of art that is truly inspired, like when they were mortals. To still be in touch with art in all its forms, the Toreador are a very social clan to mortal and vampire alike, rubbing shoulders with everyone. For the Toreador, this translates into the clan power Invitation. So I'm going to show you how one of them works. I'm going to play the card Insiders. So my clan leader is also going to be my coterie leader. And what does it say? It says Invitation. Each clandestine vampire in your bloodline gains 1 power. So in my case, that would be 3. So I'm just going to do that right away. So that's great. 3 power gained. And then it says the invitation bit above. What does that do? Well, I have to invite one of my opponents to also get this effect. So I'm going to invite the Nosferatu over here so that they can also get the effect. They can accept or reject. If they accept, they get the effect, but they also give us 2 power from the total reserve of the bank. Not from themselves, but from the bank. So in this case, they would get 2 power because they have 2 clandestine vampires, and they're probably going to accept. So they're going to get 1 power here, 1 power here, and because they accepted, the coterie leader also gets 2 power. And the Toreador have a bunch of these that has invitation on it, and you can choose which person to invite, but you have to invite and they accept or reject. So that's how that works. The Malkavian clan is cursed in such a way that all its members are mad. They could have been sane as mortals, but the moment they became part of this clan, they lose whatever sanity they possessed. Even though the madness makes many uncomfortable, it gives the Malkavians a strange insight in the world. And yes, the madness is incurable, but there might just be more wisdom in their words than you would think. For the Malkavians, this translates into the clan power Embrace the Chaos. So I'm going to do one now. I'm going to do Find Companion. And so let's make our clan leader the coterie leader as well. And what it says is Embrace the Chaos, and then there's some other text. I'm just going to focus on Embrace the Chaos first. So what Embrace the Chaos does is that you can pick an attribute that you want in your vampire. For example, if we look at the queue right now, there is no vampire from the south, and maybe I'm really into that. So I'm going to say I want a southern vampire. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw from the deck until I find a vampire from the south. So I'm going to draw the first one. This one is not a vampire from the south. So then I'm going to say, nope, you're not it. Then I'm going to draw the second one. And then this is a roaming vampire, not the same as the south. Nope, you're not it. And then I'm going to draw again. And there you go. One from the south. So now I embrace this one into my bloodline. So I'm just add it over here, I guess, that's fine. And so now it activates, it does all the things that it does as normal, and I'm not allowed to recruit again because this was already my recruitment. So if you do this scheme, then your recruitment is gone. So you have to do it before recruitment. You can't first recruit and then do the scheme and then get 2 new vampires into your bloodline. Now it's always 1 vampire per turn. So this is all it can do. So then it says, then we activate it on all the battlegrounds, which I haven't put here because it's not necessary for the explanation. And then it says, unexhaust the new recruit's sire. Oh, so I immediately unexhaust my clan leader again, which is great. And then you may play an additional scheme. Oh, that's also quite nice, right? Playing an additional scheme. So then I could, if I had, for example, Find Scapegoat, think that I could play that card because it's a scheme. But this one also says Embrace the Chaos. And because we can never recruit twice, I can't play another scheme that also embraces the chaos, right? So I'd have to do another scheme. There's plenty more schemes in the game that don't embrace the chaos, so you can use that extra scheme when you need it, or you can use a scheme from on the board near the battlegrounds. And yeah, so that way you have a bit of control over what you're going to get. And if there is no vampire on the board that you like, you can play this scheme to get a vampire. There's a bit of guessing involved because you can only pick one attribute to focus on, and then what happens next, you don't know. What the other attributes are going to be like, you don't know. So that's Embrace the Chaos. The Ventrue are a great power in vampiric society. They believe they rule vampiric society, and do so through their noble blood and financial means. As you can guess, this leads to some problems between them and the Lasombra, who hold a similar view of being in charge. For the Ventrue, this translates into the clan power Edict. So I'm going to do one for you now. Let's do Proclaim Morality. So Proclaim Morality says, activate coterie leader, and then it says, boldly printed, Edict, remove one infamy from any vampire of matching attribute. So when you play it, let's do so. Plague Doctor is our coterie leader. First, you just activate the coterie leader. So this one, again, activates on all the battlegrounds. So that is nice. But then you leave the card there and you have to pick which of the two symbols you want the edict to be on. And I'm going to pick blue here. So this text below here, which is nice, removing infamy from vampires with the matching attribute, so with the blue disposition. That's nice, but it actually doesn't trigger. This one, from now on, it stays in the game, will trigger every time a vampire gets recruited of the blue disposition. So let's assume that's our turn, we've done the battlegrounds, etc., we're happy. And it is a next player's turn who is off screen, and they recruit the Shield Maiden over here, and that is a vampire of the blue disposition. So the queue gets nice and cleaned up, there you go. And now, even though it's not my turn, I get to do an effect. Remove one infamy from any vampire of matching attributes. So one infamy from a vampire with the blue disposition. So both my Plague Doctor and my Hardened Knight are blue, so I'm just gonna remove a infamy from the Plague Doctor. If it then comes back around to me, what if this is a two-player game, right? It's my turn again. Then I could, for example, recruit the maid over here, which also is blue. And of course I activate her on all the battlegrounds and whatnot, but it's blue, so now I also get to remove one more infamy from one of my blue vampires. So I'm going to remove this one. So that happens every time someone recruits, be it you or someone else, so that's really nice. If I want to play another edict card, for example Proclaim Superiority, I can, but then I have to discard the old edict. So that's a bit sad, but at the same time it also gives you a bit of flexibility, because right now the queue is quite yellow. So I think, they're probably not going to recruit a lot of blue vampires right now. I only have one infamy on this blue vampire left, so I could, if I had the symbols, which I don't think I do right now, but if I had the symbols, I could do this card and then now choose for green or red, and well, almost all the queue is green, so that would be great. Would be a great way to switch it up. So that's how Edict works. Only one at a time, and whenever someone recruits a vampire with the attribute that you have chosen, you get the effect. Originally, the Tremere were not one of the 13 clans. They usurped another clan called the Salubri. Before becoming vampires, the Tremere were mortal mages, who in their quest for immortality took a wrong turn and ended up as vampires. Their magic had changed in vampiric form, but it had not become any weaker. In little time, they eradicated the Salubri and took their place. Because of this history, the Tremere are the clan everyone loves to hate. So for the Tremere, this translates into the power usurped for their clan schemes. So I'm going to do an example of it through the card Expel. So it says usurp, gain 1 power per infamy on the replaced vampire. So the way this works is that you look at the queue and you pick a vampire that you like, say the peasant leader over here. Even if they're over here, you're not recruiting, so you don't have to pay power. And then you pick a vampire in your own bloodline that you don't like, for example the poisoner over here, and you replace it. So this one goes away, and this one takes its place, and everything that the poisoner had and did, boon tokens, infamy, power, all of it goes on the new vampire. This is not a recruitment, the only thing is you replaced it. So you're still allowed a recruitment if you wouldn't have done so that turn yet. And then it says one more thing, which is said you gain 1 power per infamy on the replaced vampire. Well, this vampire had 3 infamy, so now I get to add 3 power. So it's a way to mix up your attributes. Maybe I just wanted the extra power. But yeah, so you can change your bloodline while other people are fixed with what they've chosen. You can be like, oh, I see that a certain attribute is totally winning and I don't have that attribute. Then you can switch your vampires out, and in the meantime maybe get a bit of a profit out of it, out of the other effects. Mistress Fanchon would be my coterie leader on this one, so I have to exhaust her. So that's how it works. The Tzimizse believe that the body they have been given is a cage to be improved upon. They have the power to sculpt flesh and bones as clay, and many of them look inhuman. Even though many of their improvements are done on themselves to transcend the bodies they have, they can also use it to make horrible beings that they use as anything from servants to guards. For the Tzimizse, this translates into the clan scheme power Craft Monstrosity. So it's a bit of a weird one because it's actually not on any of the basic cards, and that's because of what it does. I'll explain. So remember the queue with all the vampires, and remember the, well, or in your bloodline. So these vampires were sleeved, and they could be flipped, and on the other side is a stronger version of the same vampire. That happens when in the Chronicle game you do certain things, which I'm not going to explain right now. On the flipped vampire, there are 3 text boxes over here that can contain text. And if they do, then whenever you activate the vampire, you also activate the text over there. So those are like little schemes that automatically are included in a vampire. Craft Monstrosity, if you have such a card, like I said, I can't show it on screen because the basic set doesn't have one and I don't spoil. If we imagine this has text down here, you could with Craft Monstrosity put it below one of your vampires, and then all of a sudden that vampire now has that text added to it. Doesn't get activated by Craft Monstrosity. It also does not count as a recruit, so you can still recruit after doing so. And you can add as many as you want, so you can do more. You can't pick 1, 2 of the texts. All the texts that vampire has are now added to your vampire. And that's basically it. This was my video on the clans. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments and I'll get back to you when I can. In the description down below, I'll link the other videos I've done on this board game. See you next time.